Where did this video find you? YouTube, TikTok, or late-night doom scrolling on Facebook? However it got to you, stop scrolling for 1 second, because this story is going to take you places. Real places. The kind where calm people are pushed to the edge, and karma doesn't just knock politely. It shows up with sirens. Let me ask you something. What would you do if your neighbors, the ones pretending to keep everything peaceful and orderly, suddenly declared that you didn't deserve the one thing your property was built around? The lake view, the water access, your family's retreat? What if they made it personal? Well, here's what I did. And let me tell you, by the end of it, their entire neighborhood would be in flames. Literally. My name's Jeff. I'm not a fighter, not a lawsuit junkie, and definitely not someone who looks for trouble. I'm a retired engineer. I like fishing, gardening, and morning coffee by the water point. 10 years ago, I bought a small lakeside house. Beautiful spot, long wooden dock, private shoreline, and a slice of heaven where my wife and I plan to grow old. The view, that calm, blue water, was the reason we moved. It was everything. The property wasn't inside the neighborhood HOA. That's important. I own my lot outright. Independent. But over the years, the area developed around me. A new housing project went up right beside my land. 40 homes, all with identical beige paint jobs, perfect lawns, and strict HOA rules. At first, it was peaceful. Then the HOA started getting ideas. They sent a letter claiming I was damaging shared lake property. Shared? Excuse me? The dock was built in the 80s, well before their subdivision existed. It's literally marked as my private shoreline on the county plat. I thought it was a mistake. It wasn't. A week later, a guy named Doug knocked on my door. Doug was the HOA president. Picture a smug man in cargo shorts, holding a clipboard like it's a weapon. I'm here to inform you that the HOA board has voted to restrict access to the lake path that runs behind your house, he said, like he was doing me a favor. I blinked. What path? The walking trail. It belongs to the HOA. It crosses just behind your dock. I laughed. That trail is on my deed. Doug didn't flinch. We filed a claim. You'll need to cease using the dock and surrounding lakefront until further notice. My wife and I were stunned. For days, we tried reasoning. I pulled out records, maps, even historical surveys. Didn't matter. They doubled down. They put up signs. HOA access only, private path. They installed a gate. A literal metal gate across a public easement that touches my property line. Then they trespassed. A landscaper working for the HOA came and trimmed my hedges for visibility. It was deliberate, coordinated. Harassment. So I lawyered up. And this is where the story starts to burn. First, we filed a cease and desist. That gate? Illegal. Blocking lake access to a titled shoreline? Also illegal. The HOA responded with silence. But behind the scenes, they weren't backing down. In fact, they were organizing a petition to have my property rezoned. They wanted my land declared communal green space. They wanted to erase me. I started collecting evidence. Cameras, audio, every note, every call, every shady landscaper. And Doug? He wasn't just pushing papers. Turns out, he had a stake in a nearby boat rental business. If he could claim lake access exclusively for the HOA, guess who makes more money? That's right, Doug. Then the fire happened. One summer evening. A freak storm rolled in. Lightning, dry air, high winds. I was home, sitting on the deck, watching the water. I saw it happen. A bolt struck a dead pine behind the HOA's clubhouse. It lit up instantly. Flames spread fast, real fast. Within minutes, shrubs, fences, and patio furniture were torches. And the worst part? The HOA hydrant system, which they bragged about constantly, wasn't functional. Budget cuts. Guess where the closest working water source was? My dock. My shoreline. The one they said I couldn't use. The one they tried to seal off. I ran to the fire captain, pointed him to the easement path. It's the fastest way to the lake. He radioed the trucks, accessing South Lake shore via private dock. In 20 minutes, they had hoses running across my yard, pumping lake water like crazy. They saved 8 homes, but 5 were gutted. Later that night, soaked and exhausted, the fire chief walked up to me. You saved half this block. That dock. That path. Lifesaver. The next day, the news picked it up. Private citizens' lake access rescues HOA neighborhood from wildfire. You can guess what happened next. Doug came knocking again. This time, clipboard nowhere in sight. We'd like to formally recognize your contribution to the community, he said sheepishly. I smiled. Is that before or after you redraw the property lines again? The HOA board graciously removed the gate, took down the signs, dropped all claims, too late, because my lawsuit was already in motion. And now I had public support. Firefighters, neighbors, the media. 3 months later, the court ruled in my favor. The HOA paid damages for trespassing, defamation, and illegal zoning pressure. Doug was voted out. But it wasn't just a win in court. It was a moral win. They tried to block me from the lake. They tried to isolate and bully a man who just wanted peace. But when the heat came, literally, that same man was the only one who could save them. So here's the moral. Never bite the hand that waters your house, because sometimes the lake you tried to steal is the one that saves you. And the quiet guy with the fishing rod, he just might have receipts. If you think HOA abuse is just petty drama, think again. Drop a comment and tell me your story, because I know I'm not the only one. And to Doug, if you're watching this, my dock's still here, my view's still perfect, and my shoreline, it's mine forever.